Hi all, I have a very interesting Magnus Carlsen game to show you. This is against a very talented youngster, Leela Firouzja, excuse the pronunciation. So he's only 15 years old. He was an international master in 2016, grandmaster last year 2018, Iranian champion 2016, Asian Blitz champion 2018. So really, he's quite good at Blitz, the Asian Blitz champion. Let's have a look at what Magnus Carlsen played against him. So C4, the English opening, G6, G3. We go into a Kings Indian defense by transposition, the Fianchetto variation. D4, knight C6, Magnus Carlsen's E5, and now a bit of a naughty move, in a sense. D takes E5. It might not be the most interesting move in the position, but it guarantees white a nagging edge. I'm sure some Kings Indian players might not like this opening now. So D takes E5, bishop G5, offering the exchange of queens. It might be possible for black to take this and live to tell the tale, but black kept the queens on with bishop E6. Queen A4. We have queen b8. There is some nagging pressure now. Magnus actually volunteers bishop takes f6, not even waiting for h6. And what we know from Leela games, for example, when you give up a bishop of a certain colour, it's often the other colour which is celebrated soon after. So how can white exert pressure on the light squares in black's position? Well, we see knight d2, and actually there's a positional threat here of knight b3, well, end tactical, knight c5, which eyes b7, which would undermine the c6 knight. So this is really quite dangerous. Bishop g7 is played, rook ft1, rook d8, knight b3, so a very dangerous idea of knight c5. This looks to be picking on the Achilles heel of black's position, and it seems the queen isn't ideal on b8 either. Knight d4 is played. As an example, if knight d4 isn't played, say h6, knight c5 is super annoying. So with the threat of knight takes b7. So say here, white might even do better though here than knight takes. With knight takes e6, then this is just really pleasant. Look at the structure, it's wrecked. e4 control's great, the bishop's great. Nice knight on e4 coming up. So actually, black did something radical here, knight d4, maybe trying to complicate things a bit. We have knight c5, c6, e3. Now definitely trying to complicate things with bishop g4. If black moves this knight back, then structurally black is compromised. After the knight takes e6 here, this looks like a wreck. For a few mentioned reasons before, like the e4 square is beautiful for a knight on e4 here. So this is just a big advantage for white, to be avoided perhaps like the plague. There's not much counterplay there. So bishop g4 was played. So this tries to create some complications. It creates definitely an imbalance in the position. White picks up two minor pieces, so takes that piece now with the knight and the rook hanging. So two minor pieces for a rook, but can white get control here? Queen b3, b6, knight d3, rook a b8, c5. This is a really interesting move, opening up the queen to f7. So if black's permitted c5, then actually there might be some trouble ahead. That is an aggressive pawn chain for black. So this is a really interesting pawn sack. B takes queen c4, so the pressure on c5 anyway, and it's served to fragment black's pawn structure. Queen a5, knight e takes c5, bishop f8, b4, queen a3, and now that f7 has been a bit neglected. Knight e5, threatening queen takes f7, and it's difficult for black to do anything about it. Look at the rooks, they're not in a position to do anything about it. So queen takes b4, check, taking on f7 with check, check, and now here Magnus could have played the really incisive move to play here is knight f7 check. For example here, queen e6, And then this is just devastating. For example, here, bishop e4. Black has no reasonable defense here and just ends up getting mated, for example, like this. So that it's a really crushing position by this stage. But queen g5 doesn't lose any advantage. If the knight's taken, knight takes g6, check wins the queen. That knight's immune. There's a big threat of knight f7 check here as well. We have rook e8. Knight takes c6, winning material, so forking queen and rook. Queen c4, that rook is taken. Queen e2, and the queen just comes back. White is heavy material advantage now, has a heavy material advantage, and black resigns. If black plays queen takes d2, rook takes, f4, you know, this is an example continuation. It's just a piece up, basically. It's totally winning. So let's take it back to the final position. So I think the opening choice is psychologically unpleasant, perhaps, for the opponents. There wasn't too much for black to do in terms of exotic counterplay. Black tried to maybe create some imbalances. Didn't quite work on this occasion, but credit to both players. So interesting blitz game there. If you enjoyed this game video, then please click on the top left box, which should appear shortly, to become a member of chessbowl.net to play against other YouTubers. You can also check the YouTube analysis of this and other games from the improved menu learned from the Masters YouTube order button. Comments, questions, donations, see the description. Like, share, subscribe with the notification bell, really appreciated. And check out the new Teespring store in the description as well. Thanks very much.